So this again is the side front yard. It's March 25th-ish. And again, you can see the blue bonnets. You can see the sages that we talked about moving. These are mountain sages. These are canyon plants. Everything over here is a canyon plant because this is a kind of a canyon environment. You can see the sun up there, and then you can see the trees over here kind of create a rim. So up through here, you've got a little canyon and canyon type area. And so these are canyon plants. These, I just love the hot lips. I love the red and white. Kind of see it there. Especially the red, white, and blue. It's a good look. So I'm going to move the red and white. I'm going to leave the blues here. I'm going to move that red and white over here. So we're going to have mountain sage, mountain sage, mountain sage, or Salvia microphala, I think is what it is. And over here, I'm going to put a sweet almond verbena. I put 2 of them here, 1, 2, and they smelled so good that I want another one right here. So digging this up, moving it over there to mass those together, putting another sweet almond verbena here. Just an incredible smell. Over here's the side yard. Now, it's interesting when you look at someone's landscape, you can kind of tell if they've actually planned it or if they just threw stuff together. My side yard is planned, but there were so many things that didn't work that I have to come up with a different plan, and it almost looks like a mix mash. So we'll go through that. This is my plant nursery. You can see it's under a pineapple guava. This pineapple guava has got to be at least 17 feet tall. This is a tall house. We have 10-foot ceilings. You can see how big it is. This is at least 20 feet to the top of that gutter. And you can see it's every bit of 18 feet, maybe 17. That's a big pineapple guava. These things will freeze back to the ground in a bad year, but you can see where it is right next to all this stuff right here. And so it makes a good nursery. Got just some sticks that I wired up with some misters. So if I ever need to mist anything, got a couple of misters there. Just put them over here and get it going. Here's some canna lilies. I'm going to get those started next year. These are going to be my emphasis point next year. I'm going to put these in the very middle. They're a different shaped leaf, kind of a long leaf as compared to all the small ones over there. Trying some succulents under here. So I literally just got some that were growing and threw them in here. I mean, quite literally just threw them. I didn't plant them. This is coming up very nicely. It's its second year. So I got to think that it's hit roots by now because there's quite a bit of green here. I mean, it'd be dead by now, 2 years in. This is doing really well too. Oxalis, I think it is. Or not, that's not oxalis. I can't remember what this is called. Somebody gave me this and they said, you know what, just put this in a shady spot, it'll do good. Well, it's been here 3 years. It's doing okay. So hopefully it does better. These are baby blue eyes. I love this wildflower. This just looks like a grass, but actually has a really pretty flower on it. And I was mowing one day and I saw this, and so I decided not to cut it. And eventually I moved it over here, and it will just bloom these pretty little purple blooms. A whole bunch of them. There's not that many right now because there was only 2 plants here. These 3 are cuttings from this guy. So, I just cut them a few months ago, like, I don't know, January. So they're hurting this year, but my goal is to get them all along here. So eventually I'll have 15 to 20 of them. Next year I'll probably cut this into 3 more, cut that into 2, 3 more, cut that into 2, 3 more, and then just spread out. So this is my onion kale bed. And so what I do with this bed is I do have crop rotation, but I crop rotate in the same bed. So this year I have stuff here. Last year I had nothing there. Last year I had everything right here. And so I'm just kind of moving stuff around. Next year I'll move it back here. Next year I'll move it back there. Then I'll move it back up here. So it just kind of goes dook, 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 bloop, book, book, book. You can also see over there a couple of blackberries popping up. That actually concerns me. I only planted 1 blackberry bush and I got 5 blackberries out of it. So I'm not sure if that's what I want, but I'm about to have a whole bunch of blackberries. So yeah, you can see the kale's doing nice. These are 10-15 onions. Man, they're so super sweet. I mean, you can just take one of these and eat it. and you can actually taste the sugar. It's awesome. I like the hen bit and the clover in there. Add a little cover crop. Speaking of cover crop, see this right here? These are chives. I pulled these chives up because I didn't want them anymore. I literally just threw them over here and they lived. So these plants have a home now. They can stay here as long as they want. That's a tough plant. When you just throw it on the ground and it lives, there's no care. I didn't even plant it. So this plant has a place in my garden. This is cover crop this year. I did not plant this. It started coming up, and so I just started weeding everything else out, and it worked out. This is clover, and I'm no longer going to use this bed. The persimmons have really grown since I've moved in here. I mean, really grown. It doesn't look like it, but they've grown substantial, enough to cover this up so that it's not even viable during the summer anymore. So the fall anymore. So what I am going to do though is take this dirt and I'm going to move it over to that bed. That bed could use a little bit more dirt, and there's a little bit of dirt here. So I'm going to let this cover crop come in here and I'm going to turn it in, and then once I turn it in, I'm going to dig it up and move it over there. And this bed will eventually probably just be grass. I imagine this will be part of the grass path, and I'll just kind of brick this in right here. So over here is where I pulled the baby blue eyes, right here. Don't see any more coming up. I got it up pretty thoroughly, but I'm going to keep an eye out, see if there's any more stragglers that come up potentially. That's a very pretty wildflower over there, so I would definitely like to get some more of those. Fig tree. Again, the only reason I'm letting the clover grow here is because it's good, adds nitrogen to the soil. So this fig tree right here is definitely coming out. This is a Texas everbearing fig, and it was a bare root last year. It's a second year tree, so you can see it's starting off slow. I mean, it's starting off not much different than it did last year, but the first 3 years the figs are putting on roots. So I expect it to go pretty slow this year. Next year I'm expecting big things. Next year will be year 3. This year, whatever, it's got a reprieve. Not everything's been done. I haven't totally cleaned up everything, so there is still some stuff lingering. However, this is a volunteer. It just so happens that I was going to put one about a foot from there anyway. I was going to put one like pretty much right there. So this will work. It's way too close to the sidewalk. I mean, this thing's going to get big, right? And it's going to grow this direction because that's where the sun goes. So I'm going to have to watch it, but regardless, it's a good spot for it. Nice little screen. I believe this is false carrot, and false carrot usually comes up with a white flower. I'm not seeing anything here, so maybe it's not false carrot, but regardless, I left it here because it's filling space. The Russian sages. So last year I showed Jordan how to make a new plant, and what I did is I buried a branch. This is it. This right here is a branch that I buried from this Russian sage. You can even see the branch has already rotted away. So now it is its own plant. This is literally its own Russian sage plant now. And what I'll do this year is I'm going to lay down a whole bunch of these arms so that I make a thicket of Russian sage over here. I'm hoping to get about 7 of them. So I'll probably lay down a couple arms here, a couple arms here, and that'll give me 7. Mealy blue sage is really taking over. These 2 are going to move. I'm not going to leave those here because I like them on this side. And I'm going to put just milkweed. This is just going to be a milkweed area right in here. Populate the whole thing as much as I can with milkweed right on the front so they can, all the butterflies can see it. You can see I only have 2 milkweeds coming back, which is incredibly disappointing because I planted so many milkweeds. So I'm extremely disappointed with that. There's a milkweed there, native milkweed. I'm sorry, tropical milkweed. These are tropicals. Only 2 that are coming back, so extremely disappointed. Again, mealy blue sage is going to move. This mealy blue sage is going to move. And what we're going to do is we're going to put them up here. If you watch the other videos, you notice that the garden is mostly done, but the big problem is the Bermuda grass decides that it is going to go where I don't want it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put plants in here that are bigger than the Bermuda that will dominate it. And that's what this is. Look how thick that is. The Bermuda's not getting through there. Well, just look here. Just look. You can look over here and you can still see strands of Bermuda. You can see it popping up. There's Bermuda right there. It's all over here. These are areas where it was allowed to grow last year. See this? It's right here. See? You do not see any Bermuda in here. There's no Bermuda in here. This is the lantana. The lantana dominated the Bermuda. You do not see Bermuda over here. The mealy blue sage did a very good job on the Bermuda. So you can see it came right up to here. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm doubling down. I'm putting 2 rows of these nice thick plants. 1 row here, 1 row, actually 3 rows. 1 row in the back, and then 1 row up front. I've got a ton of mealy blue sages that I transplanted, and they're all of them are going to go right here as a blockade this year. We're going to get into the lantana a little bit with the mealy blue sage to keep the Bermuda out. I mean, you can see it right here. It's right here. It's coming. It's coming. And so I'm going to put the mealy blue sages right over here just to block it out. Those are lantanas. There is another lantana. All of these lantanas are volunteers. They were volunteering in different parts of the yard, and I brought them over here and masked them. There's another one that's growing too, and I am going to put it right here. So we will eventually have a nice big another lantana right here, and then over there is going to be plumbago, Texas sage over here. But this is purple coneflower. I have tried for years to get the purple coneflowers to grow on this property, and I'm having such a hard time. I've tried seeds, I've tried plants, I put out, gosh, at least 5,000 seeds, at least, if not more. And so last year I bought 24 of them, and you can see there's quite a few coming back. I don't know if there's any new ones. I mean, I put a bunch of seeds in here too, and I don't necessarily see new ones, but I definitely see a lot of them coming back. I don't know, there's at least 15 or 20 coming back here, so that's positive. This is a Rio Bravo Texas sage. So far, I'm unimpressed. Everybody says that this one is a real sprawling Texas sage and gets really big and everything. And I'm hoping it does sprawl in this spot. I really want it to sprawl right here. Right here, you can see there's a little hole right there. There was a methylated plum there. The deer ate it. So I'm going to put an Anacostia orchid right here, and it should fill up most of this space. Especially when you think of the Sandanqua viburnum and the Anacostia orchid growing together, they're going to fill up a lot of room. There was 2 bottle brushes here, but you can see they just don't do very well in the freezes. I mean, they just get destroyed, and I want something that looks better here. So it's down to 1, and the Anacostia orchid is going to fill up this space along with the lantana. So these are cuttings. I took over 100 cuttings this year. There were 80 of them here, 80-ish, but well over 100 cuttings. Some of them are not making it. Like this right here, supposed to be Pride of Barbados. You know, it's just now getting warm enough for these, but I don't see them. I see no activity here, so I don't know what to think. These over here are sweet almond verbenas. And I did have 1 leaf growing on 1. I don't even see that anymore. So who knows how that's going. Salvia gregii right here. Guess I could move this guy. Salvia, more salvias, and some Mexican mint marigold over here. Salvias and Mexican mint marigold. There's a chili patine. See a bunch of Mexican feather grasses right here. These are awesome. Really excited to get these. Rescued the... Ooh, that guy is not doing very well. I guess I need to replant him. Rescued these last night. They were in an area where they were going to die, and so I took them. See all these? All of these are plumbago cuttings. They're all plumbago cuttings. There's only one that has any growth on it. I cannot believe it. How many... Look at the massive amount of roots I got in all these cuttings. And there's nothing coming up. It's kind of frustrating. So I've got one with 1 leaf on it. Look. Oh, there's another leaf coming out. There's 2 leaves coming out now. For like 3 months, this guy's had 1 leaf on it. So now he has 2 leaves. I'm pretty excited about that. Let's move him over here, get some more sun. Pretty excited about that. Oh my gosh, he's got 2 leaves on him. What am I going to do now? You can see the mealy blue sages doing really well. There's 3 of them in this pot. I mean, pull them up, put them in a pot. Wow, they're doing crazy. So I've got plenty to block that side over there for sure. Yeah, and you can see the Mexican feathergrass. I got the Greg's Mistflower cuttings. This is a Drummond phlox right here. Got from the side of the road. Just wanted to see what kind of plant it was really, so I brought it home to ID it. And I might plant more. It's a wildflower that is very prevalent around Dad's grave, so I might plant a few of them here. This is a four-nerve daisy that I accidentally pulled up. I was hoping it would continue to do well. I'm not so sure about that. Looks like it's pretty hurting right now, so I don't know. That's what I got. The cuttings, most of the good cuttings have been planted, so there's not really much to show for bad cuttings. So here's where I said it kind of looks disorganized, because there's so much here that hasn't worked. I mean, so much that hasn't worked. I've had verbena. I had verbena right here. I had Blackfoot daisy right here. I had, what else? Four-nerve? No, not four-nerve daisy. Verbena, Blackfoot daisy, and something else. None of it worked. None of it. So I'm not fighting the Bermuda grass over here. The Bermuda grass comes in here relentlessly right here. Just comes in. So I am going to turn this into a patch of Greg's Mistflower. A big patch of Greg's Mistflower right here. And the Bermuda is not going to be able to come in. In fact, I'm going to plant the Greg's Mistflower so close to the edge right here that I'm going to have to worry about the Greg's Mistflower going this way, which is fine with me. I'll mow the Greg's Mistflower down here. I don't want the Bermuda in here. But what that means is I'm probably going to have to do something about this Zemexia. The Zemexia right here was an experiment. Wasn't sure if it'd grow or not, and I just kind of needed somewhere to put it in the ground. I'm going to have to dig this up for sure. I like it. Got to go somewhere. But it's coming back really well. Nice yellow flowers. They weren't really spectacular, but they were continuously blooming. So I definitely want that. And also this pink salvia. Pink salvia was the very first salvia I ever got. That's the only reason I still have it, because I really don't even like the pink, to be honest with you. But it's just kind of nostalgic. It's the first one. I took a cutting of it, and so I still have it here. And so I don't know, I'll move it somewhere. And this area right here is just going to be another border. I'm considering getting, this is an El Dorado Texas sage. It's got to be my favorite by far. The silver and just how big it is and the growth pattern and everything. I think I'm going to put another El Dorado right here. So nice big Texas sage green right there. And then this is going to be Greg's Mistflower. So Millie Blue Sage, Lantana, Plumbago, Texas Sage, Greg's Mistflower. And in the middle here, again, there was a lot of stuff that didn't work. I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do with the middle here. I haven't quite figured it out yet. I did have a plan, but stuff didn't work. So I'll fill that in. Hopefully this will double in size. And I'm going to put some hardscape here. Leave a nice little area of wildness right here. Yeah, that's it. That's the side yard. It's almost completely xeriscaped.